Assembly because I went to them with an issue that I supported, the fair tax. We sold them on the fair tax. While I was there, I found out that just everywhere down the line, life issues, fiscal responsibility, conservatism, they tracked exactly with my position. And I found, working with the Tea Party people, that a lot of those same issues that the Republican Assemblies goes with, their supports are the same thing that Tea Party people, new in politics, are coming in and fighting for. The Republican Assembly is already doing it. So that's why I'm in the Republican Assembly.
Why get into the Assemblies? Because when I got into the Assemblies originally, I was looking for an organization that would fight for all of my values, that didn't bend over backwards to help someone get elected that didn't feel the same way I did. It wasn't going to vote the way I do. And the Assemblies gets out and works and actively works to find candidates and to find party officials that are going to enforce our beliefs, that are going to take our values and move those up into the platform, and are going to vote for those and are going to do what they can to make those things happen. So it's the only organization I found like that. It's we're part of the Republican Party, but we're separate because we hold to our values, and we don't back down.
Assembly was a way to get into the Republican Party and change the Republican Party into what it should be and what it was under Reagan. We have an organization, and working through that organization, I am now treasurer of the state party of Nevada, because we are able to figure out how to do it, get our people there, get the votes, and get that position. Our National Committee woman, Heidi Smith, is also a Republican Assembly, as is Chris Comfort, our chairman, and our parliamentarians with the Republican Assembly. And we have a lot of committee members at the state level on the Republican Assembly. So we were able to put together the people that had the knowledge how to do it.
Well, being part of the Assemblies is kind of like the same reason you're a part of the party, you're part of the Assemblies. Being part of the party, the reason I'm part of the party, I really don't like politics that much. Unfortunately, we live in a world that's stained by sin, and we have to restrain evil, and so we have to be involved in politics in order to have an influence on our society and be able to help reform, the society, and help government to do what it's supposed to do and only what it's supposed to do. And unfortunately, any political party becomes corrupt over time as it gains power, or even in some cases, if it's out of power, they'll use corrupt means to get back into power. And so I think the Republican Assemblies help to put a check on the party, a check to make sure the party is putting the right people in office, or nominating the right people to run for office. And basically, we're here to reform the party. I guess you could take this at some, eventually you could keep reverting back and forth. Well, who's going to check us? Well, I feel like we're a small enough group that has a big enough impact that, we can check each other. We can have a much more closer relationship with each other's and the people in the Assembly, and we can hold each other accountable, whereas in a big party that's kind of hard to do on a personal level. And so we hold each other accountable to the principles of the NFRA and of the Republican Assemblies in general, and then the Republican Assemblies hold the party to those principles through using political means to do so.
Well, I'm in the Assembly to help push the party where it ought to be, to the right. I think that's where everybody should be. I guess that would be the only benefit I could think of, that they would help to steer the party in the right direction.
Well, I'm in the Assembly because I believe, like has been from the first instance of our world, it's good versus evil. And I think today we have got to watch that we have the good candidates in the primary. And that's very important. We can't have the wrong ones. And then, I'm going to vote Republican. So I will vote for the best evil. That's why.
Well, the reason why the Republican Assembly is extremely important is that it gives you a sense of organization, it gives you a sense of focus. It's nice to be, we love everybody who's registered and everybody who's a member, but we need to get that focus out. We need to continue to get the outreach going. There's a lot of people who aren't members, but who have our message, and we need to keep magnifying. We need to keep finding 10 more people who will understand that message, and by doing that, that's how we're going to win, because we need to keep just getting the outreach going, spread the message out. It's a winning message. The Republican message this year is fantastic. It's we are going to be the defender of jobs. We're going to be the defender of families and the defender of good education, and that's a message that is going to win not just in our primaries, but it's going to win the general elections. But we have to get that message out and show everybody, show the world, show the nation especially, that we have that strong, positive message that is going to fix California and is going to fix our nation.
As far as principles being very important, about the direction that our country is going in being so far away from what I want it to be. I remember what the country was when I was a child, and I grieve for my grandchildren because they're not going to see that same country. They're not going to have the experiences that I had when we were truly appreciative of what this country is and what this country has to give the world. It's important to me to try and find other people who can work together to try and turn things back to a much better environment for the generations that are coming. That's very important to me, especially now that I have 2 little grandchildren. And I want them to have the wonderful country that I had when I was a child.
The CRA is the Republican choice of Republican values. Unlike the RINOs that are out there in the Republican Party, the CRA keeps it to the Reagan conservative values, and that's why we need more Republicans in the CRA to take back our party, to get it back to the roots, so that our children don't have to say, I didn't leave the Republican Party left me. We need to get the Republican Party back to the values that Ronald Reagan stood for, and that's why we need help. And also the other conservative groups. We've been around for 75 years, so here in California, we're the granddaddy of all conservative Republican conservative groups, so that's why you need to be here.